of the tree bearing its fruit, and then you will know who's who belongs to who. You know what I mean?
So now, when that spiritual understanding is achieved, what role does the carnal commandments keep now? What we call the carnal.
They're more like guidelines. They're almost like restraints. There's still graces of God. There's still, gracious provisions that God has given. So we know what His objective standards are.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I can't make a right here because if I make a right here, that's going down adultery. If I make a right here, the straight and narrow I got to stay on. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
I mean, you're looking. Might get a flag. You don't like it, throw it out. Here, take a flag. I'm sorry, they're looking so.
That's what I think it is. The law is more of like a guidelines.
I'll give you 4. Is that enough? Okay.
Restraints.
Okay.
Restraints.
Right. So now.
It's the character of God revealed.
Right. So now here's the thing. The Christian church is not teaching that.
Some Christian churches are, and they're not Christian churches then.
Okay. So now, when you go into the real Church of Christ, what they taught was this. What they taught was to believe on Christ, but then to still also keep the commandments. So it's a spiritual thing.
But not circumcision, because the Judaizers in Galatia, we saw how Paul was refuting them, right?
Well, the circumcision,
the external stuff.
It's not going to make you a break. Well, let me say this. First off, it's not going to break you, but now
justify you. That was the whole idea.
Right, but now Paul still circumcised Timothy. Afterwards, still, you remember that happened in Acts?
Yeah, because what he say though in that context, that you know what I'm saying, it's going to cause your brothers to stumble. So do what you got to do, so they'll accept you, and so you can preach the word to them.
Right, but then the spiritual understanding was always there from the circumcision, which is the law. We're physically to do that because that's the beautiful thing about the law of Moses with Christ.
So in the Old
Let me finish.
Covenant, though, right?
Yeah.
The new covenant sign of circumcision is the heart, being Ezekiel.
Right, but that's in Deuteronomy. It says that.
Of course.
Circumcise the foreskin of your heart. Right.
That was the new covenant promise. Yeah.
So that was already there. Christ was in the law. You aware of that?
Of course, Christ was in the law.
Moses wrote about it.
Of course he did.
So now,
that's what Christ said on the road to Emmaus.
Okay, so now the law is, so the Bible is unified.
Absolutely. I believe in covenant theology.
What's covenant theology?
Covenant theology is basically you get one storyline in the scriptures, you know what I'm saying, and they progressively reveal themselves, and it's basically, there was never works by salvation, there was never salvation by works, and then it was salvation by grace in the New Testament. It was always salvation by grace alone, faith alone, but the problem was the Jews, in this context here, the Jews, they were interpreting the law wrong. So it was always by God's grace they were being saved. So it slowly, progressively reveals itself, and it gets fulfilled in the incarnation, death, burial, resurrection, ascension session of the great high priest, Jesus Christ.
Okay. So
there's one storyline in the Bible. That's the point. And you got dispensationalists, they chop it up too much. They want to make it like it's all over the place.
Right.
Like this stopped, that started, this stopped, now that started. It ain't like that. It was all types and shadows.
So now we have understanding as far as how to follow Christ. So now back to the question about the Christian church. Yeah. Why is it the Christian church as a whole, from the Pope on down, and Protestant denominations, how come they don't teach to keep Passover? How come they don't teach to keep first fruits? They were under grace. Yeah, I mean, most of us are born doing something else.
I'll tell you why they don't.
Why don't they teach those things?
Because
why don't they teach a dietary law?
Jude verse 4, that's why. Because just as long ago, they were predestined for this condemnation, they're reprobates. And that's why God's elect are going to be faithful to God's word. And the reprobates are, God's sovereign. And this is providence, you know what I mean? He's going to be just and righteous when he condemns them and judges them. That's why.
So now, who are God's elect? Let's stay on that.
The church, the spiritual Israel.
The spiritual Israel.
That's right. No more the physical, not just the nation of the Jews, but the spiritual Jews.
Okay, so now we have a disagreement here now.
Okay.
Because we read the scriptures, is spiritual, is being an Israelite spiritually.
It's being the circumcision of the heart.
But now,
spiritual Jew. But external circumcision of the penis.
But now there's a physical Israel too.
Right?
And the understanding that we had, we go on a verse to go into this.
No, yeah, you got the church militant and the church triumphant. The church militant is...
Okay, we're dealing with the theology. I'm familiar, but now here's the thing I'm saying. You have physical Israel. You read the scriptures, right? The people, the forefathers, the sons of Abraham, the sons and daughters of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. When we read the scriptures, they're the ones that are supposed to achieve the spiritual salvation. Those families.
The spiritual salvation.
Romans 9 and 3 now.
Okay, let's hear it.
Read Isaiah 45 and 4 first.
Let's go to Romans 9.
And then we're going to go back to Romans 9 because this, no, 45 and 4. Because I want to deal with who the elect are. You said it right. But you said spiritual Israel.
Well, I believe, yeah.
Your words are right. Your words are right, but I'm not sure if you're understanding it. It's Isaiah 45 and 4.
Isaiah chapter 45, verse 4.
The God be true, every man a liar, myself included. Read.
For Jacob, my servants,
For Jacob, my servants,
sake, and Israel, mine elect.
So Israel is the elect of God, so we're clear there, and anybody listening. So now, Romans 9 and 3. Romans 9 and 3, because check out what Paul is saying here in the Spirit of Christ when it comes to physical Israel. Because it's good that we have understanding as far as
Then you gotta go Romans 11 and 2.
the role. Oh, we can go there too.
Okay.
Because that goes back to the questions I already asked.
Right.
Because the nation,
Been a temporary
the nation,
blindness on the nation.
A nation,
So that the Gentiles can come in. Then he's going to worry about the
Exactly.
consummation of the nation of Israel.
But now the door is opened up to the Gentiles.
Yes.
But what have they done? They didn't even do the three things that were asked of them. To abstain from blood. I mean, why is pork the other white meat? Right? Why do you like your steak rare? Yet, to abstain from blood. Yet you want to call yourself a Christian nation. Not directed at you per se, but the nations that are in power.
Be careful, people. We can't, you know what I'm saying? We can't start now doing works to earn our salvation.
But that's part of it too. Because just like James said, I have faith and that works.
Yes, we know.
How's the rest go?
Right.
Show-
Faith without
show-
works, yes, I mean, if this guy's hungry, you're not going to give him money, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You go home, be filled.
So show me that faith. I'll show you my faith by my works. That's where the works come in. So now back to the nation who's going to be saved. She's making a face. She doesn't understand what's being brought out. Romans chapter 9 and verse 3 now.
Romans chapter 9, verse 3.
This is to deal with spiritual Israel concept. Okay.
For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ.
So it says, I wish that myself would be accursed from Christ. So let's make sure we understand this. Read on.
For my brethren,
For my brethren, read.
my kinsmen, according to the flesh,
My kinsmen, according to the flesh. I'm going to read on. Read on.
who are Israelites,
Who are Israelites, referring to the actual people, read.
to whom pertaineth the adoption,
Make sure you hear this too, sister. Right on the back of the file. It says, to whom, read.
pertaineth the adoption,
It's in my other page. To whom pertaineth the adoption, read.
and the glory, and the covenant, and the giving of the law,
And the giving of the law, read.
and the service of God, and the promises.
Okay, we can say the Old Testament says that too.
Yeah, but we can also
But
look at Galatians 4 and see and know that not all descendants of Abraham
Your
are really...
mind's running 100 miles an hour. Hold on, let's read verse 5.
Okay.
Let's read verse 5. We say, oh yeah, the Israelites, yeah, they were
What does that mean?
they were on Mount Sinai, they were given the law, right?
All don't mean all.
Oh, no? Okay, well, let's read on, because it's all in Romans 9. But check out
remnant.
what verse 5 says. This is important. I don't like to preach to the wise, but we gotta fill
I ain't wise, man.
we gotta fill in this gap. Check out verse 5 now.
Whose are the fathers,
Whose are the fathers, also ancestors, read.
and of whom
How's the rest of the verse go? Say it again.
I'll read that version.
I thought you just quoted it. Read verse 5 from the top again.
whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came.
And of whom as concerning the flesh, Christ came.
Because the promise was to who? Abraham.
Right? And then to his son Isaac.
Right.
And then it fell upon in his what?
Descendants.
Exactly, his 12 sons.
Yes.
So now why is it that it's being taught that anybody can become a spiritual Israelite? That goes against what we just read.
Anybody who the Father wills. Just like, John chapter 6, no one can come to the Son unless the Father draws him, right? And whoever God wills to bring in, God will bring in. To shame, the wise, to shame the branch, to shame the true branch, which is the Israelites, right? In chapter 11, he brought in the weak and feeble Gentiles to cause jealousy almost for the sake of their forefathers to rise up in them, so they would, turn to God again, right? And not be doing what they're doing and being castaways up until that point.
Right, so you feel as though the Bible doesn't contradict.
No, what? No, absolutely not.
Good. I know, but there's some people I know are Christians, but they may say Paul's
But
liar.
they don't read their Bible. Before you were talking about the prosperity gospel, that's what everyone believes.
So now, what about this? What about Israel physically being saved spiritually first, then physically through great deliverance.
Physical Israel, you're talking about eschatology now. You're going in at the end. Is that what you're talking about now? Revelation, finished? You're talking about now?
I know the logic of it.
I'm talking scripture. I'm not talking logic. I mean, I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying
catch you with fallacies here.
I'm trying to understand the word for you. I don't understand the essence. I know the
Revelation. It's just systematic theology. It's just subcategories.
So
end times.
So yeah, we are dead. Okay. So now.
Wait, how was thinking about it?
Okay.
You can go ahead. Go ahead.
Just give me 1 second. When you read the Bible, right? Yes. The Most High said he would curse unless his weight on the day of the Lord. Okay.